Are housing prices finally about to crash in 2026? Or is this just another fake hope headline? Because if high mortgage rates were enough to crash housing, prices saw VV fall on years ago. Rates went from under 3% to almost 8%, and yet homes kept getting more expensive. So today, we're cutting through the noise, the clickbait, and the doom posts, and looking at what the data actually says about 2026. Are housing prices finally going to drop in 2026? Everyone keeps asking the same question. Are home prices finally going to fall in 2026? Honestly, if you told me back in early 2022 that mortgage rates would jump from under 3% to nearly 8% and then stay above 6% for years, I would have said, no way prices survive that. But that's not what happened. Home prices kept rising. According to long-term housing data, prices were up around 6% in 2023, about 4% in 2024, and they're still slightly higher in 2025. So what gives? Let's break down what's actually happening and what 2026 might look like. Pressure is finally building. Here's where things get interesting. Right now, there are far more sellers than buyers in the housing market. In fact, sellers outnumber buyers by more than 35%, which is one of the highest gaps we've seen in years. Even home builders are struggling. Some are offering discounted mortgage rates around 4%, price cuts, and incentives, and still can't move inventory. Completed but unsold? New homes are now sitting at levels we haven't seen since after the 2008 financial crisis. That's a big red flag. Price cuts are becoming normal. Another key signal, in 2025, nearly 60% of homes sold had at least one price cut. That doesn't mean prices are crashing, but it does mean sellers no longer have full control. Buyers are pushing back, and sellers are adjusting. At the same time, buyer activity is falling. The number of active buyers is near record lows, outside of the early pandemic period. So yes, the market is cooling. Real estate is local. Now here's the part most people miss. There is no single U.S. housing market. Real estate is local. Some cities are clearly correcting. Austin is down over 20% from its peak. Parts of Florida and Louisiana are down double digits, but other cities still rising. Places like Cleveland, Detroit, and parts of the Midwest are actually seeing price growth even with population declines. That surprises a lot of people. Why? Because supply is tight and demand hasn't fully disappeared. Why a nationwide crash is unlikely. This is important. Over the past 75 plus years, national home prices have only fallen a handful of times, and every single one was tied to a major financial crisis. Even during most recessions, home prices barely moved. So if you're waiting for a 30% nationwide crash, history says that's extremely rare. 2008 wasn't normal. It was a systemic failure, risky loans, over-leveraged banks, and toxic financial products. Today, most homeowners have much lower loan balances and more equity. That alone makes a 2008-style collapse far less likely. What about 2026? So what's my honest take? I don't see a collapse. My base case is stagnation. That means prices move sideways. Some markets fall slightly, incomes slowly catch up, affordability improves a bit, but not dramatically if mortgage rates stay above 6%. Small corrections make sense. If rates fall because the economy slows, that doesn't magically boost demand either. Either way, it points to flat or mildly lower prices, not a crash. Demographics still matter. One more thing people overlook. The largest age group in the US right now is in their prime home buying years. People still want homes. They still get married. They still have kids. Life doesn't pause just because rates are high. At the same time, many older homeowners are staying put. They locked in low rates years ago, and selling just doesn't make financial sense for them. That keeps supply tight. Final thoughts. So, will housing be dramatically cheaper in 2026? Probably not. Could prices dip or flatten in many areas? Yes. A full-blown national crash. Beri un liqui housing dosan te folisil. And when it does, something big usually has to break. For now, the data points to correction, not collapse. If you're waiting for perfection, you may wait a long time. So yeah, could housing be 30% cheaper next year? Sure, right after gas goes back to $2, rent gets affordable, and your boss suddenly gives you a 40% raise for vibes. Until then, welcome to America, where a $30,000 salary means dream big, and a $100,000 salary means maybe you can afford the garage